Will Apple respond to the Samsung Galaxy Fold? I've got an awesome concept to show you. There have been some substantial Apple leaks, including iOS 13, some details regarding that, the future of iPhones with the Apple A14 chip, and we've got some news regarding 5G, the rollout of it, and this crazy security flaw. Also got a really funny prank to show you guys on the iPhone. So all in all, huge news day, and I'm also including the giveaway at the end of this video. So good luck. I'm going to be explaining that later. Let's get into it. Also want to remind you, I'm still doing that 5 S10 giveaway with Aaron over from Mr. Who's the Boss. That's still open for this week. Do check that out down below in the description. I'll leave a link. So I want to start with the Foldable Future. And I want to recap this real quick. The Samsung Galaxy Fold is seriously cool. I really don't care if it costs almost $2,000. That's basically technology on an entirely different level that Samsung's offering you today. You can buy it if you want to. They don't need to price this thing, cheap to compete with the iPhone XS. Really, they can charge whatever the heck they want because them and Huawei now are the only two selling these phones. So full steam ahead. I love this future. I just want to talk to you about Apple's relation to this. Are they working on something? And it looks like yes, they actually are. Before I get into that though, let's talk about the Huawei Mate X. So this thing is impressive. They took what Samsung revealed with the Galaxy Fold and made it even better. It uses a completely different folding mechanism, actually a completely reversed orientation for the Fold. It looks much more cutting edge. On the Galaxy Fold, it seems like Samsung was a little reserved on the display and the bezels, but the cameras they went overboard on, and also on the Huawei Mate X. It's just very cool to see companies competing now at this future. Like before you know it, I guarantee we're gonna have folding tablets, and the 3 folding tablet from Westworld. Yes, Apple is actually working on something just like that. It seems too good to be true. So we created up our own version of what the Apple Fold could look like. By the way, we're on static shots. We weren't able to get a lot of movement in because it's our program that's limiting it. If you guys have any tips for moving objects, let me know down below. I would love to learn. But it turns out that Apple actually does have plans for a foldable phone. And this isn't a secret. For the longest time, they've had patents regarding some folding mechanisms, curved displays. Apple is actively looking into this. And it's very likely that they'll tie this all into the micro LED future, the technology they're exclusively working on as well. So this could be an exciting future for the iPhone. Now, when we'll see something like this, probably years, but you can't help but dream. So we created up this concept with a very interesting hinge, kind of modeled off the iPhone X here. So not totally copying the Galaxy Fold, but Apple's version of it could be pretty cool. We didn't have a notch up top because the Bro King blended the Face ID module right into the top bezel, but I'm sure we can create a more sleek version of this that I'll be sharing with you eventually. Just all around our rendition of what that could look like, and Apple is working on it. And here's another concept. It's really cool. It's coming from a Dutch industrial designer. His name is Roy Gilsing, and he took the iPhone Fold and made his version of it. Very realistic, something Apple could do within the next few years if they really wanted to. And don't doubt it, behind the scenes, I'm more than positive Apple's working and has a laboratory full of all sorts of who knows what on the iPhone. And Apple did it first, like hands down, this has to be the first one, the 80s prototype of the original iPhone, definitely folding. So yes, Apple did it first if you really go way back. Just kidding, obviously a joke. Okay, now I've been having way too much fun with this. So there's a bug on iPhone that allows you to modify the subtext in preview links that you send to people in the latest versions of iOS 12. Works on 12.2 still, 12.1.4. I'll leave a link down below how to do it. I've been having the most fun with this. It's seriously great. Check it out. And another point I'd like to bring up is, will the iPhone 11 be enough? Samsung is driving a very hard bargain here, charging $100 less for newer technology on the Galaxy S10. Will the iPhone 11 be enough? And I simply say no, not at this point in time unless they focus on the software with iOS 13 more. I mean, it'll be great with the frosted wireless casing, the new triple lens design will be great, reverse wireless charging, but nothing that you won't be able to get on the S10 for $100 less. So I say iOS 13 needs to be Apple's biggest priority. They need to take this software, they need to polish it, they need to give us all those little features that we should have had a long time ago, something ambitious, split screen, picture-in-picture, and yeah, ambitious to us is what Android had for years. Please, Apple, please do consider that. And I wanted to show you this iOS 13 concept. So this is by Leo Valet, and he has shared something incredible with us. He took iOS 13 and from a very unique angle gave us some features that I haven't seen being mentioned anywhere else. So he does prioritize an iPad specific focus here, and we can see that with, in addition of Trackpad 3, the Magic Mouse 3, even the Smart Keyboard version 3, specifically tailored to connect with the new W3 chip, supposedly. It looks really nice. I like the idea in general. a revised Find My iPhone feature where Apple physically prevents you from shutting the phone off. I doubt that'll ever happen, as you always need that physical reset. Support for an external display and Xcode on the iPad, multitasking, plus Control Center in one interface. It's brilliant. Apple should have done that. There's no reason why these are two completely separate interfaces when they could basically be the same thing and save you the confusion and difficulty of having to swipe down on the top right of a device so big. Apple, take heed. And he says here that it'll drop the 5S support and keep iPhone 6 and above. And this is generally what I personally think Apple will do. We heard a rumor that they're going to be axing everything from 6S downwards, but I highly doubt the 6S is going to get cut. That's a perfectly capable phone. There's no reason. So Max Weinbach of the XDA Developers Portal is clapping back with some new iPhone leaks. Very strange to get this from an Android source, but hey, I'll take it. So he's saying iOS 13.1 is likely where we're going to be seeing dark mode. Dark mode has been delayed due to who knows what on the iPhone. So Apple might not even be showcasing this at the event. Instead, we'll just release it through a silent update. At least that's what I can infer from the tweet. It's very sad to see that, but that could change. There's still June until September where Apple could be including that in the marketing for the iPhone 11, which is what you'd think they would do. I mean, dark mode would sell the iPhone 11. It would just be a genius marketing campaign they'd basically be throwing away if this is true. From the same source, he's saying that iOS 13 will include some major improvements to the speed of Safari, the optimization and speed for, I'm sure, all devices, especially on the older ones. And this is very good news to see, as Safari is actually very clunky. It's definitely an oldish interface that I get annoyed with using, that they need to take a fresh perspective at and see where they can improve. So I'm all for this. And I absolutely love this. So this is the future I imagine when I think about how crazy smartphones are getting. Oppo has added a 10 times optical zoom to their smartphone, and it manages to look like a normal smartphone. No crazy huge amounts of lenses like the new Nokias. It's just a reasonable smartphone with crazy good zoom. And I see this future for every smartphone. Everyone's going to be adding more and more optical zoom. That's going to be the new race versus triple camera, quadruple camera. There's going to be a big optical zoom factor in it too, I believe. Going back to the iPhone side of things, it's very possible Apple might be switching to 5 nanometers in 2020, according to Digitimes. So they're saying they're exploring that option. It's very likely that TSMC will be delivering a 5 nanometer chip, and this is with 2 years of 7 nanometer. 7 nanometer is currently what the Apple A12 is at. The A13 is going to be an improved version of that 7 nanometer, and then Apple is likely to jump to 5. Very cool all around. It means better efficiency, less power requirements, very possibly, but it could also mean better battery life. So let's talk 5G. What's going on with that right now? Because it's actually very important. It's going to drive the next big sales marketing push of smartphones in general, so it's important to know where that's at. Right now, Verizon is looking like the only and fastest network to bring 5G to market. Most recently, Sprint is claiming they'll have their 5G network up in May, and T-Mobile is saying the second half of 2019. So it's certainly coming, probably soonest from Verizon. And in the iPhone, Intel is very confident that Apple won't be launching 5G until 2020. They're going to see how this rollout goes, how the coverage is, how devices are performing, and then in an Apple fashion, they'll respond with the best 5G or however they're going to spin that. And here's a scary one. So a report from TechCrunch is claiming there's a flaw or multiple flaws in current 4G and 5G networks that are entering markets that allow a hacker with $200 worth of equipment to listen in on conversations to find your location, amongst other things. It's scary bad, and it can be done very easily as explained in the article. Hopefully this gets patched soon. Of course, 5G isn't really a concern here. 4G is what's around, and this is really scary. You know, aside from the government watching you, now any hacker can using this. And here's a very interesting take. CNBC is reporting that the future of the Apple Watch features, the health monitoring stuff, that has all been influenced by people's emails to Tim Cook. You know, testimonials saying how the Apple Watch saved lives. It's very interesting to see that Apple does listen to feedback, just in a very strange way, not in a very logical and linear way like Tesla does. If someone says, oh, I don't like this should be better, Elon Musk responds right away. Apple, it seems, listens to your emails and over time may add these features or steer the direction of the product. And speaking at Elon University, Apple COO Jeff Williams made a comment regarding iPhone pricing, and that they're always considering that, and it's the bane of their existence, basically getting peppered with iPhone pricing questions. Someone in the crowd asked a question regarding this, and whoever that is, thank you for doing that. But it was just very interesting to see the response from Apple. It's something they actively consider, and they're not trying to go into a luxury elite category. So we kind of know Apple's stance on the pricing right now. They're not trying to be an elitist company only for the few that can afford it. They're still trying to make it affordable to everyone, but it doesn't seem like they're doing too good of a job at that. Hopefully it improves this year. You guys have to read this article. I really enjoyed reading it. It's down below. Phones are getting weird again, and that is the best thing. That should be celebrated. The fact that phones now have lenses that zoom out from the body, they have dual displays, they're gonna have triple, quadruple, 6 cameras. Just, I love it. The future should be strange. You shouldn't be able to predict what the new phones are gonna have, and this explains it very well. So well done, Gizmodo. Okay guys, giveaway time. You overwhelmed me with just how many people signed up. So thank you for participating. Hopefully some of you stay on the Instagram. There's some cool stuff to see there, believe it or not. Not all of you guys leave, but anyways, we're gonna go do that. There's something going on with GoFundMe right now that I wanted to explain. I jumped the gun a little too fast with my donation thing. Apparently GoFundMe does not allow raffles, so everything that I earned for the National Forest Foundation basically getting flushed back, refunded. I asked for that specifically because I can't do the raffle, so you know, doing the donation without giving back to you guys in that regard, not fair. So I'm gonna be giving away the one XS Max and 5 AirPods in a separate video once I get that figured out. They haven't responded yet. So I just want to be transparent about that with you. I'll be doing that giveaway separately. Still not sure. I still want to do some sort of nice donation for the Gorge, but we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Round 2 hopefully will be the one. But okay, let's get to that giveaway. No matter what, guys, thanks for watching and stay tuned for the next one. I'll be giving away those 5 in a separate video. I'll explain that later. Peace. Okay, it's now been 6 hours and this is still counting. That's so funny to me. Too many people signed up for this giveaway. So while that's finishing up, finally, I got the YouTube ones here loaded up already. So this is the only one that can literally handle an amount this large. Every other one literally crashes. But all right, first winner. And by the way, if you do win, put a link in your about section of your YouTube where I can reach you, preferably Instagram, and I'll be sending messages out. If you don't have it, I'm gonna have to redraw. Okay, randomly pick winner. David Manuel. So you have won this one. Randomly pick next. So that's for the iPhone, by the way, David. You won the iPhone. This is for AirPods. M. Bergeron. And you have won this one. Well, a pair of AirPods. H. Zari, you inspire me. You have won a pair of AirPods. You don't have anything here. If you don't put a link or something, you're not getting these. And Andrei Yosif, you have won this one and another one. So Iksan Satria, no one has ever won from Indonesia. Well, you will be the first. Okay, so one more for AirPods. Abhishek Soundarahan, and you have won this one. So you don't have anything either. You better put something in there so I can contact you. Okay guys, and these are the Instagram winners. So the test has completed. This is arbitrary.com. I did pay for this service. It's all verified. The first one is for Bonnie, the iPhone XS Max, Rahul Dugazip, Calvin Chua, Braden Moberly. You guys have won AirPods. Now, I accidentally missed one. I don't know why, but I'll be drawing one more for AirPods tomorrow and the other 5 once the GoFundMe thing gets figured out. So stay tuned for those, hopefully within the next few days. Anyways, thanks for playing, guys. I'll be reaching out to you.